I've taken this over.
Yeah,
This is
actually,
ours
could you announce the episode and everything as well? No.
Thanks. I'm gonna go make a sandwich.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, while you're at it.
All right. Welcome to the show, Rod Giltaca, president of the CCF.
Nope. Start over.
What?
He's not the president.
It's not
Jamie's
welcome to the show. It's
president.
welcome to the main topic.
Oh,
Have you
Yeah.
even done this before? Do you even
Basically-
podcast, bro?
You know
Basically,
he
didn't do
is.
any of that right.
welcome back to the podcast, Rod Giltaca from CCFR.
Oh, hi.
There we go.
Oh, is that me? Crap. Am I supposed to say something?
Oh, that's my
Cue.
cue.
Yeah. Line. So Rod, it's been a while since you've been on the show. There's been a whole bunch of things that have been new recently. Maybe catch our listeners up with a little bit about what you've been up to.
What we've been up to at the CCFR? That's
Yeah.
a good question. It's been a ton of stuff. In fact, it's been unmanageably busy, and for a number of reasons. So we can talk about some stuff that's really new, and then some stuff that's sort of new. I'm sure if you are following the CCFR at all, you're probably aware that we did attend the roundtable, the government roundtable concerning the handgun and assault weapons ban. I attended that in Toronto. And then there was also a video made of that trip by the guys over at Coat of Arms. And if you want to see that video, you can find the link in the story on the firearmrights.ca page, where you can go to Coat of Arms YouTube channel. But those guys are really great, and they put in a lot of effort for the cause. I think that if everybody put in as much effort as they did for no money, we'd be even farther ahead. But anyway, so they did a really cool video. So really, big shout out to them. So I appreciate that. We've got a bunch of stuff that's really new. One of the things, and we can talk about this, is today is the day that we launch the official magazine of the CCFR.
Woohoo!
And it's called High Capacity Magazine. And
What
I
you
don't
did
wanna-
there, I see it. What you did there, I see
Yeah.
it. High Capacity Magazine.
Magazine.
Yeah, legal
But really,
in
it's a
Canada.
periodical.
Wait, I don't get it.
It is. Yeah. Well, at least one of us don't get it. One out of five.
Matthew, we don't have the time or the crayons to explain it to you. Just follow along.
Exactly.
I like crayons.
So now I don't want to mislead and make it sound like we are publishing the magazine. We aren't. It's another group that's doing it, but we are it's our official magazine, basically. So we're on the cover. We have a couple of ads, and we have 2 pages in every issue where we discuss a variety of things. So if I can explain a little bit about the magazine, that'd be cool if you're interested.
Please. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, basically, it's a little bit different than maybe some other magazines that you're familiar with. I guess there's really only one firearms magazine in Canada right now. It's different because this magazine focuses on Canadian gun culture. So people, events, like political issues, stuff like that. And of course, guns and gear. But it's a little bit different, and it's a little bit more CCFR, right? Because we're a little bit more about the gun culture than we are about, intricacies of the law kind of thing.
So to clarify, like a regular gun rag, you would find, here's an article about the Remington 700 and here's how it performed. And here's an article about some new tech. Here's an article about some new gear. This is less about that. This is more about meet Joe. Joe's a farmer. He uses his gun to hunt coyotes because they're eating his cows, and this is what he likes to do at the range, and blah, blah, blah. Is that sort of the gist of it?
Probably not the Joe the farmer thing, but yeah, about people.
I was thinking.
Yeah, sure. I had to come up with something real quick, and that was the fastest my brain could run. It's
Joe
not
the 3
quick.
gunner kind of stuff.
Joe the 3 gunner. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there'll be tons of stuff like that in there. Yeah, it's really cool.
Cool. I like it.
And some more news, and I mean, this is actually, oddly enough, or appropriately, I should say, Slamfire. This is the first place that we've announced this new magazine, because it came out today, and I haven't done it anywhere else. So you guys got it first.
we get the
We're
scoop every once in a
exclusive.
while. Yeah,
Didn't that happen
That's
last
right.
time too?
it did. Last time Rod was on here, we got to break something to the world for the first time. That was
Usually we're just
CCFR
breaking
related.
some.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, like breaking wind. Anyway,
Oh,
That's Kelly.
I was
Normally
going to say
we
that's
wreck stuff.
Matthew, but
Yeah.
All right. So something else that's coming up that's new in a few weeks. We should have our new clothing line out. Now, interesting.
Yes.
The new clothing line is going to have a new logo and a whole new look and feel.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be something that'll be interesting for some folks. And,
So,
yeah.
Rod,
Mhm.
did you do anything for women? Just wondering.
That's a pretty open question. Rod's done lots of things for lots of women.
Clothing.
Yeah, let's stick to clothing for now, and then we'll move on to the next stuff after. Yeah, we do have some women's clothing in it. Yeah,
Perfect.
for sure. I was going to try to scrounge up something funny to say, but it was too risky.
Yeah, when you're live, you got to be a bit more careful, right?
Yeah, I've been taking a lot of risk recently, so I'm gonna reel that in a little bit.
Good call.
So and
So hold on before you go too far. Why the new logo? And can we see what the new logo looks like?
well, yeah.
Oh.
Why new logo, Matthew? Because we got a new logo, so they figured, Slamfire's doing it.
Got to step up their game.
Yeah, we're
Mhm.
trendsetters.
Always keeping up with the slam. That's what we call it over here. You know?
Yeah, okay, carry on. I'm just
Yeah.
not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, Trevor just self-filtered there. See that?
Yeah, exactly. Just slammed up there, and it's like, nope,
Clammed up.
denied. Clammed up.
New logo.
Yeah, so the new logo. So why a new logo? And part two, can we see it?
There is a party going on in my head right now, and like literally, there's a
Slamfire's
monkey.
invited.
Oh yeah. There's a monkey swinging on a chandelier, throwing poo everywhere, and
That's Trevor.
I just can't share it with you. Anyway,
Okay.
and they were good. They were good jokes. So just take my word for it. Anyway, so no, we can't see the logo right now, but probably within 2 or 3 weeks, we'll kind of start showing that stuff. So we got patches and clothing and
Calendars with it on.
So
yeah. The calendar. Does the calendar have the new logo?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, when is that coming out?
It got
Soon.
delivered so they got delivered today, but we're going to be doing some things so that we can make it so that it is part of unique. We're going to be numbering them, so it'll be out next week and people can start ordering them. So it'll be 2 weeks before they probably get them.
I thought I saw a picture of the cover of
You did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I only have so much capacity in my head. So I was like, I wouldn't even notice what logo was on.
clearly, your capacity has been riveted.
Yeah.
Exactly. limited capacity.
You have the room for full capacity, but you've been restricted with a rivet.
Yeah.
So, what about all those people that got tattoos?
Me too. I've got the big swirl thing on my back.
Cover up.
Big. Yeah. Cover up.
Yeah.
Body airbrushing.
Glad I cheaped out and didn't get one right away.
Is that the only reason you didn't?
Pretty much, yeah. Financial decisions: tattoo or ammo.
Okay. Fair
I'll
enough.
wear a patch instead. Get a sticker for my truck.
We are keeping the old logo. So and I can share this with you. So that's kind of cool.
The old logo? That's very generous of you to share that with us.
We are. We're holding on to the old logo and clothing with that stuff on it still, because not everybody. The new logo has a gun in it. In fact, it's an AR-15.
An assault rifle.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're banned. So anyway, not everybody wants to wear an AR-15, and that's cool.
Right.
So we're going to have the old logo is actually going to be called the classic CCFR logo, and the new logo is just the logo. So it's like Coke Classic and Coke.
Oh, but Coke Classic was such a flop.
I was going to say that didn't work out so well.
No,
Yeah.
the new Coke stock. That's
Classic
New
is fine.
Classic was
Crystal.
fine. New Coke was
Crystal Coke.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this is the right stuff right here. This is what we should be having.
Dr. Pepper is gross.
So, Rod, that's exciting. Do you also want to take a minute and tell us about the latest contest that the CCFR ran and what the winner got?
That's a good question.
It's like what? There was a contest?
Yep.
C71.
You called the guy and
Yeah.
congratulated him. Remember that phone call you made to
I
the
did.
win?
He
I
Yeah,
did.
picked,
that
I saw the
was
video.
he picked the long range precision rifle.
long range package, which would have been the Cadex Sheepdog and 6.5 Creedmoor.
Right.
Yeah, what is that, like a $5,000 rifle or something? Hey,
Yep.
Yes.
awesome. And then he got 100 rounds of match grade Creedmoor ammo, 6.5. And what else do you? Oh yeah, the optic was pretty crazy. It was
Wasn't it a Vortex or was it a Leupold?
No, it was a Leupold Mark IV.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah, super nice. Like $3,000 optic.
And the the SFRC donated that.
They did, and I, this is actually something interesting to talk about because I called up Ryan over at SFRC and I said, hey, do you want to do our next contest with us? And he said, he's like, oh, well, yeah, I thought, you did them with International Shooting Supplies. I'm like, no, man.
Share the love.
Yeah, it's like we do them with whoever wants to do them, right? And
Yep.
One of the reasons why you saw a couple with Scott over at International is just because he was right there when we started the CCFR. Because it's not like we have a lot of history. It's only been 3 years.
Yep.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was glad to do that with them, and then we're trying to do another contest for the television show, if I can get that out, and that'll be with another store, I'm hoping. So spreading it around.
Awesome. So how many of these contests have we had so far, Rod? This is our third?
I'm gonna say 4.
4. Wow. And they're very popular.
This one was the biggest one ever, and it kind of bucked a trend because the very first contest we ever did was the biggest one, and then every contest after that actually they were diminishing in returns. And then we had the the debacle, the SHOT Show debacle.
Yeah.
And, which was, well, whatever. It is what it is. We got that corrected, but that was the worst one ever. We actually didn't collect much money at all. And so you learn a little bit as you do these contests to see what people respond to. And this one was the biggest ever.
I think the timing also matters. You need to know when to hold it. I think there's a time of year where people are feeling some more financial constraint than other times. Like I wouldn't announce it a week before Christmas, let's say. You gotta time these things.
Yeah, I think you're right. You do need to know when to hold it.
I think the message was good as well because of the fact it was with respect to C71. People were interested in trying to finance, exactly that. Let's try and see if we can sync it.
A good segue. Speaking of C71,
yeah.
Rod, do you have any updates on what's happening with that? We've heard that there's some changes recently in some of the logo, some of the language that they're using. Do you either want to touch on that or tell us, your impression of how the town halls are going? Because that kind of ties into that as well. Do you have anything on either one of those two topics?
Well, nothing too interesting because I haven't kept up with it in the last few weeks because I've been busy with a bunch of other things. Tracy has been. I think she had a meeting with another senator a couple of days ago, and then she's got another one, I think, early next week. So she's actually physically going to the Senate and talking to people. And one of the things I said, I think in the last podcast was, history is made by those who show up. Yeah. And I saw 3 senators. She saw another one next week, and we're in there. They know we're here, and they know what they're doing is not done in the dark.
I don't think we can overemphasize the importance of you guys actually having access to senators to fight on our behalf and to be our voice, because everybody assumes it's a done deal, and almost certainly it is a done deal, but it still has another step. It still needs to get to the Senate. And I don't know of another time that a change like this has happened and we've had a firearms organization with access to the Senate to sit down with senators. People always say, well, I write them an email or I send them a letter and I never hear back from them. And that's probably true. But now here you are, if you're a member of the CCFR, you've got somebody actually knocking on a senator's door and sitting down having a face-to-face. Yes, it's a stressful time, but at the same time, we're so lucky to have this kind of representation. And I don't know if we've ever had anything this, like, even close to this before.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. And I think it's good. There's one thing I would say, and this is kind of interesting. I might have mentioned this. I probably mentioned this on the podcast. So I don't know, but I'll mention it now because I think, if there's people that aren't listening to our stuff or aren't on our Facebook group or whatever, but listen to Slamfire, they should know this. So every once in a while I get somebody that says, what exactly are you doing? Our organization is not doing anything. They're not accomplishing anything because C71 is still going. But for me, and I came to this realization because I actually feel that way for, most of the time. I'm like, like all this effort, does this mean anything? Well, for one, it could cost the Liberals an election. Yeah. It could actually save us on so many other things other than firearms, but whatever. Set that aside for now. In the past, when there has been firearm legislation, the story has popped up into the media and it sits in the media for maybe 2 or 3 days, and then it goes away and it's gone. And maybe, at the next vote, it pops up for a day or two and it's gone. And maybe, when it passes, it's in the news for a day or there's a mention and it's gone. Like it was never a national discussion. Well, if you look at it this time around, C71, which isn't the most onerous bill out there, on its face, it's not.
No, it's not.
There's some bad things in there, and we can talk about this if you want. But for a bill like this, it has sparked, we have sparked a national conversation that's been going on, coming up for 3 months, that it's always in the news cycle at least every week or two, and it stays in the news cycle. And that's never happened before in Canadian history. So if I'll take any credit on behalf of the CCFR, it's that.
Yep, kept it in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot different from the old days of other groups saying, we're working in the background for you, because the other group would get called out all the time, just like CCFR gets called out. Why should I join? What are you doing? Well, you've never seen a pro-gun org with as much media exposure as the CCFR, and they're not just there for photo ops. They're having their photo taken at things and events and meetings where they're actually lobbying on our behalf. They're actually talking to politicians. They're on the Hill. They're meeting with senators. So that old pony show of we're working for you quietly behind the scenes.
Yeah.
How do I know if you're actually working quietly for me behind the scenes? So not only is the CCFR working for us, they're working for us not quietly behind the scenes, very out in the open and publicly. No other group has ever been referred to as Canada's NRA before. And why were we called Canada's NRA? Because the NRA is vocal. We're not that. We don't strategize like them. We don't operate like them. They do things differently than us, but they are a household name. For good or bad, they get media attention, and that's why the NRA is a household name. So to have the Liberals call us Canada's NRA, that tells us that they're scared of us. That means they know we're being effective.
Yeah, that's right. And I like to use the NRA comparison myself, but in that you have an organization that carries that much influence.
Yeah,
and that's the NRA part that I want to be.
Yes.
Obviously, we're completely different in our ideology, but I'd love to be called the king. To me, it's a compliment. It says that in 3 years we've gone from an idea in somebody's living room, I wasn't even there, to the Liberals going, these people are such a pain in our ass that we're actually going to fundraise, calling them Canada's NRA.
Yep.
So it's a badge of honor from consider the sort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what else?
What else? Well, when you're talking about being in front of people, and you know what, I don't want to take credit away from any other group, large or small, that are actually doing work, and some of them do some good work, and it's not as much out front. So I don't want to discount them entirely, but I would say that we do probably the highest volume of work. Actually, I would say that probably. I'd say definitely, but it's just different work. So speaking of what we do to keep this in everybody's, or even, actually, it's even some proof. Between Tracy and I, we've done 60 interviews this year. This calendar year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably that one day of death where you both went through the night was a big help there.
That was 23 interviews in 3 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
It was good.
You gotta get good at it after doing that many back to back, right?
Oh yeah, I was speed dating, man. It was awesome.
23 interviews in how many hours?
3 hours.
Who else has done that? No, no one. It doesn't happen. I know we don't. I know we want to take the high road and not call out the other groups, but I don't see the other people getting media attention. because I don't think that they've like have the access that we do anymore. Some of them have lost their access, and some of them I just don't think have ever earned what we've earned in such a short period of time. I know that sounds kind of disparaging. It's not meant to be. I'm trying to blow the CCFR's horn, not shoot the other guys down, but it's just, we get asked all the time, what are you doing? How are you being effective? 23 interviews in 3 hours. I'd call that being effective. Damn effective.
Well, and that was a CBC syndicated interview. So it wasn't that there was 20, we recorded 23 interviews and they were trickled out. It was all the way from one end of Canada to the other during the morning drive on a weekday. That was because my interview started at 3 a.m.
People stuck in the car, they had to listen to you.
Yeah. Well,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the groups that does get that, or groups that do get that opportunity, are anti-gun groups, like Wendy's Gun Now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So they give all kinds of airtime to those people. It's sickening, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's coming?
What's coming
next?
Well, real quick thing about the TV show, and again, you're the first to hear this update. There's going to be a delay. The delay has absolutely nothing to do with the CCFR, and we have taken very strong steps to make sure that delay is dealt with in one way or another. I'm not going to say much. I'm not going to say any more than that.
I could tell that there was no point in asking any questions.
Yeah,
that's fine.
More to come. I'll know everything in about 10 days. That's when I'll know everything.
All right.
So, but anyway, there's going to be a delay. So at best, the delay will be you'll see the premiere first week of February. At the worst, slightly after that. But if it's slightly after that, then the whole situation has changed a bit. So anyway, I'm trying to give an update because people are wondering without blowing everything that's going on. But that's what it is. There's a delay. It's and we've done everything that we could to hold the schedule. It's just things beyond our control. So it's going to be a bit longer.
Stevie, this isn't unheard of.
Well, it's unheard of for me because I live in a different world. I live in a world with deadlines, and
you live in a world that gets stuff done.
Yeah, there's no excuse. Like unless I lost a kidney, that's a good excuse.
That's pretty valid. Yeah, that's a thing that could happen at any time. You just never know.
Where were you for a week and a half? Well,
I had a thing, but I'm better now. Thanks for asking.
But I'm back on the job. Sorry about that, guys. Can you forgive me?
Some people take sick days.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's a deal there. So the TV show is going to be delayed, but something's coming for sure. More to come on that.
Awesome.
And then, we've been running around like fools trying to get a lot of stuff done. Some of the stuff that people see, and some of the stuff is just infrastructure things like new clothing lines and a bunch of working on the show that you don't see the results until you see the show, and going to all these events and lobby week and press conferences. You guys saw the press conference video, did you? The latest one?
I'm not sure if I saw the latest now.
Yeah, you should go to the CCFR YouTube channel and check it out. We actually had our own cameras in the press room, in the press gallery. So we got a better, higher quality version.
Yeah, because their cameras are trash.
That's still 4:3, right? Still standard definition.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So anyway, all that.
You know what? My tax dollars pay for those. I'm happy with that quality.
Yeah.
I ain't paying for no 4K.
No. But you're paying for Omar Cotter's kids to go to university. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
So just anyway, no,
that's in there.
But anyway, so I'm excited to get back to making the political videos, looking at doing another series of explainers, that kind of stuff. And we also have a project. I'll tell you another thing that nobody knows. A first that nobody knows.
This is why you're here, man.
Exclusives.
I don't know. I think you guys did the sodium pentothal thing. You spiked my drink, and now I'm just spilling my gut.
You're welcome.
You roofied me again, Trevor.
Again. They don't know about that one. That was vacation. There was no stopping.
I don't know why I keep falling for that.
I was on your boat. Remember that? No, you don't, do you? But my DNA is there.
You pirate. Anyway, pirate on many levels. So the one of the projects that we're doing, and I'm not going to discuss too many details, but we're going to be doing our own national poll using a major polling company.
Ooh.
And because we see polling coming from anti-gun groups, and we see polling coming from groups that are funded by the Liberal Party or other left-wing, overtly left-wing sources, we are actually doing our own national poll. It's going to be a big one. So,
Awesome.
yeah, so a very substantial poll. We might even use 2 separate companies and combine the results to make sure that there's no bias. Because one of the issues that we're having is I have very low level of trust, even for polling companies that are left-leaning, that they'll give us our information. And yeah, it's a sad day when I have to say something like that, but it's genuine.
They'll always go for money. So it's,
So and now the timeline on this is actually really short, which we found out because we've never done a poll before, and no other gun group has ever done a poll, to my knowledge, an actual national poll on these things.
What? Another never been done before first for the CCFR?
You know, I'm almost
tired of saying that.
I think you're starting to embarrass me, man. But it's all about the CCFR. But anyway, we're doing the best that we can. And I think this is going to be really exciting. And we will have the poll results before the middle of December.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, part of this is our stats are given to us by these website polls and that kind of thing. And really the news, the media is incentivized on doing these polls on their websites because they get lots of views from us and from the anti-gunners as well going in to vote on the poll. So you guys doing a poll is a great idea. Most of the poll data out there is using leading questions on the anti side, and it would be good to get something that's not biased and more neutral, more true to what Canadians are actually like. Because I think most Canadians just when you ask them about guns, they probably don't know or don't care, and
or they spew American rhetoric and American facts because they're so inundated with American television.
Yeah. So I think a survey would be an excellent use of time.
Yeah, it's and we're doing it. A couple of people have said, "Well, what are we trying to achieve?" So there's a thesis that we're trying to flesh out here, and that's the part that I have to keep confidential. But the other thing is that when anyone commissions a national poll, it's an opportunity for the media to talk about guns again, and it's a data point for people to debate, which keeps it in the news cycle. And the results of that poll will live on long after I'm gone or the CCFR is gone or whatever. Because people always say, oh, back at 2018 there was a poll that said this, right? Mm-hmm. And as long as it's a major polling company, it's actually taken as pretty reliable information. So we're actually contributing to the data.
Very cool.
As a gun group,
Mm-hmm.
So switching gears a little bit, Rod. Mark Holland had a town hall meeting recently, and in that he kind of either through a slip of the tongue or not mentioned that at least in his mind, central storage is an option that's on the table going forward for the Liberals. Have you heard anything? Like, do you have any spoilers about whether or not their strategy is changing and what we might what we might have to look forward to if this goes through? Do you have any kind of insider tidbits that you can share with us after all those meetings? And
well, that has got the whole central storage idea gets mentioned every time there's a gun debate. It's not as popular as the word ban or as popular as some of the other things that they want to do. Mm-hmm. But that always kind of gets kicked around. I don't have any information personally that's being seriously considered. But if I were to make a guess, for the Senate, because this is the only place that it can happen unless the Senate pushes the bill, kicks the bill back to the House. So for the Senate to have an amendment like that, I don't think it's realistic. Yeah, I mean, that's huge, right? Because you can only imagine the backlash when, like, every gun owner that owns a handgun will come out. I mean, there's certain things that will trigger, as it were, which is like, what do you because because people on the ground that go to a gun club go, hold on, you know, like Tracy Wilson was saying, like her club, Eastern Ontario, whatever, ESOC,
ESOC.
EOSC.
USC. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just needed a minute.
Eastern Ontario Shooting Center.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or Sportsman Association or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Moving
You know
on.
what, Kelly, we'll argue about that later.
Tracy's Club. Got it. Good. Moving on.
If you've been there, which I think most of you guys have been there.
I've been, yeah.
Yeah, it's a piece of private property. There's no power there. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's no alarm, so there's no nothing there. And it's a bunch of ranges and some buildings without power. So, I mean, you know, what do you, like, how would anybody even pay for security, you know, sufficient enough to repel a gang, you know, a gang putting a 4-man team together, driving a Ford 250 through the front, you know, of a building and then stealing all the guns? I just, it's so out of touch with reality that I would even be shocked for them to even, you know, go down that road publicly in a serious manner rather than just some nut in the Toronto Star talking about central storage.
Yeah.
Or
it's too
not in
crazy.
exact, I guess, right?
It's too impractical an idea.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It would never ever work.
Which, well, kind of like a registry didn't work, but they did that anyway.
Well, yeah, and the thing about the registry was, you know, it's a compliance measure.
Yep.
You know, they're not actually removing your firearms from the home. I often think as a gun owner, like, what's it going to take for people to be like, okay, you know what, I've had enough. They've gone too far.
Yeah.
And I think something like that would just affect so many people and so dramatically. I mean, what was that crazy senator that she retired? She was a real nut too.
Yeah. She
yeah.
won
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, oh, you have to use an armored car service to transport your firearms. Like, what kind of drugs are you on?
yeah. What world are you living in?
Like, I'm talking hard drugs too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, she was the original fentanyl
Meth,
dealer or something.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like mainlining fentanyl. I got this great idea. You know,
I think the term is freebasing.
yeah.
Freebasing fentanyl.
Yeah. She put an
It's the
eye
only-
drop or something. She's just out to lunch. Yeah.
Well, that's a great way to wrap this up.
People are out to lunch.
Yeah.
They're bananas.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on and spilling your guts over
All over.
So many
new
things.
things,
over.
Rod. Yeah, we'll definitely use that to our advantage and play up that we've got all these exclusives from the CCFR.
Super scoop.
Yeah,
You
all
heard it
these,
here first.
all these scoops here, but we probably have a lot of CCFR members watching as well right now, just because
we
I
do.
know they're watching us live right now. But thank you again for coming on and giving us the update.
I appreciate it.
Have a good night, Rod. Thanks.
Later.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye, Rod.
Bye.
Awesome. There's no better way to wrap up an interview than accuse a former politician
Freebasing.
of freebasing.
She wasn't just injecting marijuana; she was
No.
freebasing fentanyl.
Freebasing fentanyl. Yeah.
Ah, she doesn't listen anyways.
Yeah, she
Shouldn't listen to anybody. Have you read her stuff?
Yeah, I
Man.
have. Wow.
all
Treat.
right.
What's that? No, not doing that. Pissed off half the women population last 2 weeks ago. I am not gonna tempt fate again. But it was that joke about the
And here you
black
go.
guys.
Here you go.
Just stop while you're ahead.
Was I ever ahead though?
No.
You're right, so I might as well tell it because I can't get it. All right.
Hello and welcome. Oh, man.
I don't even think he did it on purpose.
I think he did.
Made it so awesome.
Yeah, he just knows the timing of the air, enough air gap for me to start.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hello and welcome to Slamfire Radio. This is episode 279 for November 15th, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Adriel Frosty Michaud. Yeah.
I'm another one, Trevor, the Frolate. Frolot?
I'm Kelly, the classy one, Lynn.
Way too
And
much
I'm-
confidence
Oh
in
no, you have to do an upward inflection. Come on.
that. Yeah, man.
I am Kelly, the classy one, Lynn. Is that better?
No, that was almost
That was
exactly,
exactly the
same.
same.
Yeah.
Like this. And I'm Matthew. The warning shot McClatchy?
Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What he did.
Yeah, I went up at the end. Yeah, you gotta go up.
Yeah. I think
This
that's
is a
me.
great intro. That's a great. We're so good.
Well, it's an intro.
It is an intro. Check mark. Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
All right,
check.
got that one off the list. What's next?
Why don't we do like what we did in guns this week? Trevor, is this your section now?
No, it's the lead host section, but I've been updating it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we didn't go through that. Yeah, we'll have to discuss that checklist thing of.
Hmm.
I
think
put it
that
on the
took
bottom
this
of the show notes for us
Mm.
to
We should do it
refer
on the
to.
air while we're live, while we're doing the
Brilliant.
show.
Yeah.
It's
That
a
makes
great
sense.
idea.
Okay.
What we did in guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer. Right now, buy a Beretta 92FS and get
Stop.
a free range
You
bag.
got to do the
No,
title.
come on.
Without
You-
the title, there's no context, Adrian.
Is the title
It's
for this?
And you have
Yippee-
to
okay.
add
Right there.
mother.
Yippee-ki-yay
It's
Christmas
Mr. Falcon.
special.
It's not even Christmas. It's middle of November. What do you do?
It's
What
still
is
the
this
Yippee-ki-yay Christmas special. Look, you don't decide what they put on special and when, all right?
Okay.
You just
All right.
read the thing like they want us to.
Yippee-ki-yay Christmas special.
Was that the word?
There you go.
You should
Buy a
have added-
Beretta 92FS and get a free range bag, 30th anniversary DVD copy of Die Hard, and one Zippo lighter. Only
That is
packages
awesome.
available.
I want
$875.
this. I want
The
this.
lighter has Bruce on it in the air duct with the lighter lit.
Oh yes.
It's amazing.
30th
Yeah.
anniversary. It's been 30 years since that.
That's how old
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Huh.
Best Christmas movie ever.
Yeah, remember those things that Wes sent out a couple of years ago?
Last year.
Was it? No, it wasn't last year, was it?
Yeah, it was last year.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I got one.
I think we all got one,
Yes,
but
we
I
did.
don't think it was last year.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know what it was right away. I needed instructions to figure out what. Oh, it's Bruce in the air duct. I get it now. Yeah.
Mm.
So for those that are listening or watching, yeah, sorry, you didn't get a nice ornament.
You didn't
from
get a
Wes.
tree ornament from
Wes
Wes and
No.
Mrs. Wes.
It was awesome. I
Corinne.
liked it.
Stevens.
Yeah. So if you just had said buy a Beretta and get a free range bag and a 30th anniversary,
They wouldn't have got it. You got to say the yippee-ki-yay.
yeah,
And with the Zippo lighter.
We
exactly.
got her in there. We
Yeah.
got her.
Yeah, you did.
Came
Yeah,
around
but we
with it.
slam fired the hell out of it.
Mhm.
Oh, did we ever?
Yes.
I think
Oh.
you should.
Slammed the hell out of it.
We slammed it. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, it's
Matthew, you
just-
want to tell us what you did in guns this week?
Yeah. Thankfully, we could move on from that. Wouldn't want any.
Well, we don't have to.
But-
We can dwell on it for a little while
Well-
awkwardly.
Okay,
Well,
can we
here,
move
let-
on, please?
Let's continually move because I actually watched Die Hard this last week.
Oh.
That's
did you?
what I did in guns. Yeah, that's pretty much all I did.
Okay.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Trevor, how about you?
Watch. I mean, that does count, right?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
All right, fine.
John Wick
Yes.
as well, if you watch that. It
John
also-
Wick's not even a Christmas movie.
So,
Yeah.
All right. Just throw a random movie on. I watched Harry and the Hendersons.
okay,
No,
that's not a.
guns. Harry Anderson does have guns in it. That's a hunting movie.
That's a random one.
That-
Is that a
I, was,
gun?
I was just thinking about Harry and the Henderson last week too. That's
No,
a great
you were
movie.
not.
I like that.
All right, moving on. What I
Trevor.
did was- yes,
Trevor,
what did you do this week in guns?
I went to work at Denise at the gunsmith, and Winchester Model 63. I think it's a 63. It's a magazine. It's a semi-automatic with the magazine tube in the stock, kind of like the nylon 66, right? And the charging handle is actually in the front of the forestock underneath the barrel, and it's like this rod that you push back.
What's it
don't
called
ever-
again?
Rod?
No, it's a gun.
Oh, I believe it's a Winchester Model 63. Never, ever take that apart. Not for nothing, ever. Don't do it. Just don't. Public service announcement. If you have a Winchester Model 63 and it stops working because it's dirty, just put it on the wall. Get it welded up, deactivate it, and move on. Oh my goodness. It was,
Yeah, I've seen these before. I've never worked on one, but I've seen them before. Those
oh
are
goodness. In the end, I figured out how to get the front part reassembled using the magazine tube. It was kind of convoluted, but I got it done.
Yeah.
And
Where's the
then
charging handle on this thing?
it's
on the
under,
front.
yeah, it's that thing underneath the front.
Oh,
Yeah.
know, right?
Oh.
And
Ugh.
reassembling that charging handle, here's the thing.
That's-
You got to put the force stock on first, and then there's a block that goes into a dovetail, and then the metal cap gets screwed to that block, and you've got to line up the charging handle with the op rod on the inside that moves the action back and forth, but you're doing it with a spring that you have to compress, and it's all blind. You can't see what you're doing. So there's a little cap on the end of that charging handle. You drift the pin out, and then you've got to get basically like a slave pin down all inside of that and line up the spring and then compress the charging handle, that rod, and then hold it all in place while you put the cap back on real quick and then drift the pin back in. Oh my God. It was,
Seems to me it was designed by somebody who went,
how do I
how can I
make this?
make this
Yeah.
overly complicated?
Yeah.
Well, it's
So
very
I-
slick. Like there's no charging handle on it. The port on the side there is very small, so it's probably really dust resistant.
Yes, and the ejector looks like something you would find on a 3030. It's the biggest, most ridiculous rimfire extractor. The extractor is literally like a Tyrannosaurus Rex claw. It's for pulling 4470 cases out or something. It's
No
ridiculous.
extraction problems. Good.
No extraction problems. So yeah, it was funny because I called Denis over and I'd be like, are you looking at this? Are you seeing this thing? And he'd be like, yep, and walk away. Yeah,
luck.
that's all you for a lot.
Time.
Best of luck.
Yeah, not
So
my
you
realm.
wanted to play gunsmith, huh? Enjoy. And then I went to, I should really grab it off the wall, but whatever. Some more of my Stag 10 parts came in this week. Oh man, listen, guys, if you want to build an AR-10, you need to understand that, first of all, for AR-10, a lot of people already know this, but a lot of people don't. There is no mil spec. So you order, a barrel nut. It has to be the DPMS pattern barrel nut. If your upper is the DPMS pattern, there's DPMS pattern, then there's DPMS pattern Gen 2, then there's Armalite pattern, and it goes on and on. So far, I've managed to bring in an Armalite tube because I thought I needed an AR-10 gas tube. Well, if you have a DPMS pattern AR-10, an AR-15 gas tube will be fine. So I brought in an Armalite AR-10 gas tube because, it said AR-10. Well, it don't matter if it says AR-10. You got to know which AR-10 it's for. And the Armalite AR-10 rifle length gas tube is a 1/4 inch longer than a standard gas tube, which is what the DPMS pattern takes. Okay, so that was a problem. And then I ordered a charging handle. Really cool, expensive charging handle from Brownells, ambidextrous. Oh, it's DPMS Gen 2 small frame. What the? AR-10 small frame? Okay, I guess that's a thing. So
yeah,
that
my buddy
I'm
got
getting there.
a G2 barrel, and it goes inside the receiver. It doesn't even work with those Stag 10s.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this the same buddy that I was taking pictures of buffer tubes for an hour yesterday and sending them to him?
Yes.
Yeah. So you got carbine length AR-10 gas tube and rifle length AR-10 gas tube. And sometimes people send you AR-15 carbine length gas tubes. And then you wonder why you can't cram your AR-10 carbine length spring into your gas tube. Oh my God, what a nightmare. Buffers, same thing. An AR-10 carbine buffer is not the same as an AR-15 carbine buffer. So some parts are compatible with AR-15, some aren't. And then you got to know, like Stag is really good. You go to the Stag website, it tells you right up, straight up, our receiver and our upper and our lower are proprietary. Everything else is DPMS patterned. But when you go order AR-10 parts, they don't always say right off, obviously, if they're DPMS pattern or not. So Brownells has this really cool feature on their website where you can look at an item and then ask a question. So I found another charging handle that I really liked, and it's Phase 5. I love Phase 5 products. I've got some Phase 5 stuff on some of my AR-15s. So I asked them a question: is this charging handle compatible with the Stag 10? And when they reply, you get an email notification saying your question has been answered. So you go back. That's actually right there in the email. And it said yes. So thankfully, SFRC carries Phase 5, and they had one in stock. So I got the Phase 5 charging handle from SFRC right after another that handguard that I ordered for my NEA 15. That came in. And then the very next day, I ordered this charging handle because I goofed. And I ordered another gas tube. I've got a gas tube and a Defiant muzzle brake coming from Maple Ridge Armory, and Maple Ridge is also sending me their new 17-inch lightweight handguard. They've made their handguard even lighter than it was already. What they've done is they've removed the rail portion of the handguard. They left a couple of pieces at the front and a couple of pieces at the back where it matches up with the receiver, and they've milled off everything else. So they found more ways of shaving weight off of the handguard. So the 17-inch probably weighs as much as the 15 or maybe even less. So I'm going to T&E that for them. And in December, they're going to be rolling out their AR-10 handguard. So this won't have a handguard or a barrel nut on it until that arrives. I could shoot it if I had a barrel nut, but the barrel nut is part of the handguard system. So I'm just going to hold back and wait on that. So I got another gas tube coming and a charging handle coming. The rest of the stuff came in. My bolt carrier group arrived from Brownells. That's about the only thing that arrived that I didn't mess up. And then I went to see Captain Andy. So he's got one, and he wants to build the lightest weight AR-10 possible. So everything he's getting for it is like skeletonized or this or that, or, he's looking at lightweight bolt carrier groups, but he built his in 260. So he has to research how 260 runs in AR-10s and whether or not you need a heavy buffer or a lightweight buffer, because he obviously wants to get a lightweight bolt carrier group, because the bolt carrier group in AR-10 weighs as much as like a 6-month-old child. So he's doing some research before he gets onto other stuff. But he has a mill and a lathe and some titanium. So he made titanium custom takedown pins for the AR-10. They are amazing. Both pins weigh less than the small pin on the AR-10. So we've shaved a little bit of weight there. He also took my gas block and skeletonized it. And then, because forward assists are stupid, we removed the forward assist out of our guns, but we needed to plug the hole with something. So he found some brass casings that were just slightly larger than the outside diameter of the forward assist. So he plugged his with a 50 Action Express and plugged mine with a 300 Win Mag. So the second I posted the picture of it on Instagram, sure enough, somebody asked me if my AR-10 was chambered in 300 Win Mag, which is a long action cartridge. But anyway, it was all good.
So is that chambered in 300 Win Short Mag WSM? No,
it's not. It's not WSM. No, it's actually still in 308, regardless of what that little brass plug looks like. So we took a case and we cut it on the lathe and we turned it down on the lathe, and then we had to make it look like a live cartridge. So then we took a primer, put the primer in the lathe, and then disassembled the primer in the lathe, took out the anvil, removed the compound, and then pressed it into the case. So it looks like a primer, but it's not really a primer so much. It's just a piece of brass. And then my NEA, I completely stripped that down to the stripped upper and lower, because the handguard from SFRC came in, and it's flat dark earth. It kind of looks cool. And I polled the audience, and
what was the results?
The results were, I don't care, I'm going black. So I'm just gonna Cerakote everything black anyway. And I was gonna get my AR-10 barrel done because it's stainless, and then I went, well, my 3-gun rifle has a stainless barrel. My SLR has a stainless barrel. I'll just stay stainless on the AR-10 as well. So, I'll switch over the camera so I can see what this looks like here. So here's my Shadow 1, CZ Shadow 1 production IPSC pistol. And there is the Shadow 2 front sight and Shadow 2 rear sight.
Yep.
So I was really taken with the Shadow 2 sights, because the front sight is narrower and taller and uses a smaller, finer fiber optic. And the rear sight is adjustable.
I don't really like the way that the rear sight angles in, though, like that.
No, I would prefer it would be square, like my 1911s, like this. I would prefer that. But what are you going to do? It's not. But this is still better. Well, here's what the Shadow 1 rear sight looks like.
Yeah.
And yes, I would have liked it if they had left that profile for the Shadow 2, but unfortunately they didn't. But what they did do is make it adjustable for elevation. So now I have a narrower front sight with a small fiber optic and an adjustable rear sight on my Shadow. So,
Did you replace the grips?
no, well, I mean, it came. These were the grips that were on it when I got it. I have the rubber ones as well. These are the aluminum ones. Season on one side, Maple Leaf on the other side. Pretty cool. These safeties, one is extended, one is flat. But if you can see, they kind of they're out from the frame quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so I think these are Shadow 2 safeties. And if I get the low profile safeties for the Shadow 1, they're going to fit more better. Because
I'll buy that extended one off of you if you.
Here's what we'll do: you get me a set of Shadow 1 low profile safeties, put it in the mail, and I will put these in the mail, and we will just trade.
Mm-hmm.
That sound good?
Yep.
All right, done. What else have I gotten up to? I ordered a couple of reloading dies, and my second one arrived. It's an RCBS X die, which means that the brass doesn't stretch when you full length resize it, and it's also a small base die. So this will be, I've got one in 308 for the AR-10 and one in 223 for the AR-15 and the SLR. So small base, make sure that it's completely resized. It's actually undersized a little bit, I believe. It's supposed to increase the reliability of feeding in an AR or in a semi-automatic. I had X dice and I had small base dice. Now I have both in 2 and 1. And so I'm getting ready to start processing brass. So I'm setting up my world's finest trimmers. I replaced the high-speed steel end mills that were in them with carbide ones. And I'm having a heck of a time to get my 223 one set up. But Captain Andy reminded me what I was doing wrong tonight before the show. So I'll get back and get that on the go. And roll pin starter punches. Man, if you work on ARs and other guns, you work with roll pins. And roll pins are a pain in the butt to start because they're usually very small and difficult to hold on to. I've seen Denis has this one cool kit at the shop. It's got a hammer with a steel end, a rubber end, like you screw the ends off the hammer, a brass end, a plastic end, a rubber end, and a steel end. And to start the pin, it's got these little plastic tweezers that hold the pin for you, and then you tap, tap, tap. And that works okay. But I saw these roll pin starter punches in an AR-15 video once, and it took me a while to find a set online. I finally found some on Amazon. So the way it works is you put the roll pin actually inside the punch, and the punch holds the roll pin while you get it started. Just a couple of light taps to get it started in the hole straight. And I tell you, starting a pin straight is important because I was working on a Weatherby Vanguard at the shop the other day, and it had its own special pins, and they were, I broke one. And it's not cool. Yeah. Because you're ready to return the gun to the customer. All the refinishing work is done. You're reassembling. You get a pin started in the hole crooked and you don't think it's in very deep. You think you can straighten it and you try and straighten it and it snaps. And there's no pins in the shop that are the same size as this pin. It's like, oh my God, we're supposed to call the customer and give him his gun back. And you broke a pin. One tiny little pin is preventing you from reassembling this whole beautiful firearm that the guy's already been waiting for because he's behind a bunch of people waiting to get his time. His turn has finally come. You're ready to reassemble the rifle. And God, I mean, Denis, I don't this could have happened. Hey, Matthew, your rifle will be ready this afternoon. Oh, great. Hey, Matthew, we can't finish your rifle because we lost a pin that costs less than 2 cents, but we don't have any. And now we have to find one on the internet and order it. No, oh my God.
Yeah, I'd be upset.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Why did you use me in that analogy? I don't want you to work on my guns.
Typically, you don't get upset about these things. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't mind. I got a gun. I'm good to go. I don't need another one.
Probably the worst thing I've ever done, ever. So.
Well, you did split Adriel Slide.
Nope, that was Captain Andy. Nice try. Yeah. So and it's don't you have pins in stock? Of course, there's all kinds of pins in stock. But Weatherby has its own special fancy little pins. And anyway, so make a pin, order a pin kit for a Weatherby rifle. I don't know. Anyway, that sucked a lot. Roll pin starter punch whenever would happen. So I got those now. I also picked up another Strike Eagle scope. This time it's a 1:6. So it's impeccable condition. A listener had it, and for whatever reason, he's not using it or going on to a different product, different project. So I've got that. So that's going to go on my AR-15 three-gun rifle. And then I think my Leupold, I'll probably put on the NEA for now, but I kind of want to put a scope on my lever action 22. So more on that later. We'll see. And that's all I've done. Adro, what have you been up to?
Don't put a scope on your
No.
lever action.
No.
22.
I agree.
Lever actions don't get scopes.
But it's such a great little gun and it's accurate. And if I threw a little 22 scope on that, it would be such a tack driver. But you're right, totally ruin the classic look, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
But guys, I've got a Savage Model 99 in 300 Savage with a Weaver scope on it. The scope is vintage to the rifle, all from the 1950s, 1954 to be exact.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
So, okay. But I'm just saying, I could get a period scope for it, and
No.
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 All right then. Well, I gotta adjust the front sight because it's shooting in this area. Peer pressure, hey, holy! I'm putting an EOTech on it now, bitches. I'll show you.
All right, Mossberg.
6 to 24.
Settle down there.
You're not even my real dad.
Okay, what did I do? I shot a 3-gun match.
Woohoo! How'd you do?
I got first in TAC Ops. I'm gonna go limited next year. There's more stiffer competition in limited. I don't know what red dot I should buy. From the 3-gun show, they were talking about the Vortex Spitfire is like kind of like the thing to use because it's 1x, it's prism, and it's got an etched reticle. So even if you forget to turn the illumination on, you can still use it.
Yeah.
But if you guys have some other opinions, I'm open to hear them.
The Spitfire it reminds me a lot of the aim point. It's kind of like an early aim point in like appearance. You know what I mean? So the way it's going to fit the rifle, I think it's going to be similar. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm going with a Venom on my PCC.
Yeah.
Why do we need a Venom on a PCC and not on an AR? I don't know.
I'm gonna be shooting this thing out to like 300-400. So the nice thing about the Spitfire AR is that the AR has batteries in the base, so it uses the base for storage stuff. Yeah, and it's got a turret on the top that is graduated for distance with 5.56.
Really?
Yeah, so you can dial the red dot or not and just shoot above the target. That always works too. I probably will do that anyways, but it's nice to have the option, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, thinking about that. We might have a December match, so maybe the year isn't over. Maybe we'll have like a Winter Classic.
I like to look at this Spitfire thing. This is the first I've heard of it, and I really like the fact that they've etched the reticle right into it.
Yeah.
Is that one of the who's blowing?
Trevor.
My bad.
Good job,
Sorry.
Trevor. Yeah, thanks for that. Who why haven't red dots had these etched reticles in the past? I mean, that's
because you
brilliant
get a
idea.
prism, right? So if you're going to do a prism, you might as well do like a 3x or 5x, and there is a 3x Spitfire, but this 1x is.
But the 1x is the way to go, especially for a red dot style optic.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Burris has one as well. They have a 1x. Yeah.
And it's an etched reticle as well?
Yes.
Well, then this is what needs to go on my NEA because I need a red dot for that. All it's got is iron sights. I don't want to put a scope on it because I don't need a scope on it because I'm not going to be shooting 3-gun rifle with it. But I want it to be set up like a duty AR.
Well, if you're going to shoot close, like they've got the Spark AR is real tight. The Spark AR doesn't have anything sticking out on it, and it is like a tight little unit that just sits on the rail, and there's nothing sticking out on it. The Spitfire
AR is what I run on my Typhoon, Adriel.
Oh, there you go.
And I've got it like super low.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I shot a 3-gun match. Man, I forget what even happened during the 3-gun match.
Did you win?
I won my division. Yes. Yeah.
How'd you come overall? Do you know?
Second, very close second.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. Again, like I expect the open guys to start like really whomping us very soon because they're running the Typhoon style shotguns with pump shotgun mags now. So they're gonna be obliterating us on, like, I had a killer run on one of the shotgun stages and I still didn't win it overall. And I blew it apart and I still didn't win. I'm not gonna win any more shotgun stages overall. And I had those things on lockdown. Oh well, whatever. They're in a different division, right?
Yeah.
I went hunting, shot a deer, turned it into jerky. I actually shot 2 deer. And I'll talk about this on air. So the first deer was actually really close. There was a bit of brush in the way. I shot. I thought I hit the deer. I'm like, yes, got that deer. I waited a little bit. I went and looked. This was my evening hunt, so it was dusk. I went and looked. I couldn't find any blood. I couldn't find anything. I saw some tracks that went one way. I followed the tracks for about 20 yards, and there was nothing. No blood or anything. I thought, so I went and grabbed one of my buddies, grabbed some headlamps. We came back. We searched the area for like 30 minutes. Nothing. And this was like real confidence destroying, because this deer was like 20 meters away. And for me to miss at 20 meters is odd. And so I was like, what's going on? What's wrong with me? Maybe I bumped the scope. There's all sorts of things were going through my head. And a day later, that deer, we saw some crows and magpies coming out of a spot. And yeah, that deer, I did hit it. It just, for whatever reason, there was just nothing for blood that we could see. Maybe it, like, the foot swipes had gone right over the blood, or maybe it just like held in the cavity. We didn't get to actually check because the coyotes and birds had done such a thorough job after one night that it was like a skeleton with some meat on it. Yeah, it was almost all gone. So that was really disappointing. But as luck would have it, there's a ton of deer in this area, more than normal, and another deer showed up for me a day later at the exact same spot. So I did get my deer. This one I retrieved and turned it into jerky.
Yay!
Yeah. I took out a friend of mine out hunting, got him into the experience. We went out rabbit hunting, and so you got to see what that's all about, and we got to track one, and that kind of thing. So that was pretty cool.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's even more fun whenever you actually get something.
Yeah. Shot that Chris Vector. I've shot them before. I haven't done very extensive shooting with it. And
I could tell that you hated it.
What's that?
I could tell that you hated it.
No. I liked it.
Everyone wants to buy it.
The recoil. So if you haven't shot one of these before, the recoil impulse on them is real weird. It's really interesting. You shoot it and you feel like it should pull back and up, and really all it does is kind of jiggle. It's like, but it's just jiggling around. So it's like, oh man, you can pound out rounds, and it just kind of jiggles every time you shoot it. So super interesting gun. I posted some pics of the Chris and the Typhoon F12 on the Hunting Gear Guy Facebook page.
Yep.
I'll get around to doing a review of those. I think so. Brownells has a sale right now on their M16 lightweight BCGs. I think I might get one. They're like these really nice lightweight BCGs for AR-15s. They've got like a titanium knit ride version for like 110 or something like that US. I might get one. And then right now I'm looking at Select Shooting Supplies. So I was looking at them because I was actually just looking for that safety for you, Trevor. And I'm like, oh, they actually have the Shadow 2 safeties that I need. And what else do they have? Oh, they got some fiber optic, which I need some more of that stuff. And they've also got these M-Arms classic base pads. Maybe I'll get some of those. Can I run base pads in IPSC? Is that legal?
In what division?
Production.
Yes.
Wait, yes?
Yes. You can use aftermarket mags, aftermarket base pads. It doesn't.
Yeah.
+2s? Are +2s cool? These are +2s. Now it doesn't add +2 to the actual capacity.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, production guns don't have to fit in the box.
I don't.
But they have a mag length. They have a mag length.
Oh, they do have a mag length limit.
No, they don't. You measure the standard, classic, and open mag.
Right.
Go to the rule book and go to the division requirements at the end of the rule book, and I think you're okay, Adriel.
All right.
As NROI rep for IPSC New Brunswick, I'm ruling this okay.
I'll take that recording to my first IPSC match that I shoot next year.
Trevor said it was okay.
Trevor said this is okay. I'm running these plus 10 extensions on here. He says it doesn't matter. Yeah.
More on this later. That's all I can say. I'm like Rod right now. I can't divulge everything I know.
Mm. Okay. All right. I don't know. That's it for me. Kelly, what about you?
All right, so this week I did a lot with the Gunny Girl calendar. So as you guys probably have seen on the CCFR, Tracy posted it. They're actually in her hands right now, but they're not going to be on sale until next week because we have some things that we have to do with that. We did a lot with the sneak peeks, basically. We'll be continuing to do that as well, showing everybody all the lovely ladies that are going to be in it this year. Right now, the calendars, as I said, aren't going to be on sale until next week, but it's going to be $20 plus shipping. And then, of course, you're going to be supporting a great cause. It's basically getting ladies into shooting. So when you buy a calendar, every calendar that you buy, it's going to come with a unique code. So what we would like you to do is register it, and then you'll be entered into a bi-weekly draw. And the prizes...
Nobody ever wins those.
Yeah. Adriel, who won twice last year. I know. But this year we have some great sponsors. The sponsors, like for example, Phil O'Dell from O'Dell Engineering, he supplied us with a couple of guns. So that means go and register your calendar when you get it, and then you'll be entered into the bi-monthly draw. Because as Adriel says, nobody ever wins it. There was a lot of people who bought calendars last year that didn't register them. And if you don't register it, you're not going to be able to win anything. So go and register it.
It's like the lotto, right, Kelly? You can't win if you don't play.
That's right. So go register.
But if you've already got the calendar, it's free to play.
Even better. And if your calendar is a Christmas present, like you get every other year,
just
then
register it.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
If somebody gets me one for Christmas.
Maybe.
I don't know if you can hear me winking in the microphone. I'm not having a seizure.
Yeah, everybody who's on this podcast will be getting a calendar for Christmas. You know what? I haven't.
We have 20 live listeners. You probably shouldn't say that right now. They're on the podcast right now too.
Who are co-hosts?
You know what's awesome?
What?
Jeremy Crane just signed up for Patreon and was foolish enough to give us his real address. You guys remember he's the guy I called out a couple of weeks ago to the production challenge thing, and then he didn't show up to the match.
Oh, right.
Had to put out a fire. Sure. Whatever.
Well, you know what? He's a firefighter. Good on him. Thank you for saving the world.
Whatever. Yeah. One basement at a time. Oh.
Hey, I did want to mention, if anybody is down in the U.S. and would like a calendar, contact Tim Crosno. He's going to coordinate down in the U.S. as well.
Oh, that's wicked.
Yeah. So we are sending them down to the U.S. I want pictures, by the way. If you are in the States, I want a picture from every state in the U.S.
How about this? I'll make an executive decision. If you are an American, not you, Tim, you don't count, and you buy a CCFR calendar, we'll send you a sticker. And by we, I mean Adriel. And by sticker, I mean the old one.
Adriel, send me the stickers because I'm sending them to I'm sending the calendar.
I'm out of stickers.
Okay.
Stickers. I'm almost out of patches too.
You're not getting
a lot of t-shirts.
Anything.
We got lots of t-shirts.
They're not even t-shirts. They're like polos with collars.
Yeah.
I'm covering the cost, guys.
You didn't hear what I said, though. I said Adriel will send this stuff out.
Hey, Adriel.
You don't need to bother Crosno with sending stickers.
Okay. Whatever.
Anything else, Kelly?
Yeah. Okay. So Project Maple Seed also, it wrapped up its final event for the year. You guys, we did 35 shoots last year. It was awesome. It was a lot more than the year before. So
that's a lot.
Yeah, I was at almost every single one of them. It was awesome. There was a private shoot at the CFB Kingston range, and I got to take part in that. I wasn't actually going to do it because of the fact that I have been some things with work, but we had a few of our instructors cancel at the last minute, so I showed up and helped out because basically it was here in Kingston anyway, so we might as well.
Did you run the camera?
Did I run, or what are you saying?
Just take a bunch of
I just asked you a question.
underexposed pictures.
No, I didn't. I took great pictures, as a matter of fact.
But no one can find them.
They're on the website. Of course they can.
Counter's way over there.
All right. We showed up at 6 a.m. instead of setting up the night before. That's one of the reasons why I also decided that I was going to help out. We showed up at 6, and it was the first day of the time change, so it was really like 7 o'clock. So we only had a half an hour of total darkness. But there was about a dozen deer. First week of deer season too. There was a dozen deer that were on the range. They all thought we were nuts because we were all there, but it was fun.
You should put some targets on them and let them like bounce across. That'll be like the side movers that they've got.
I was thinking about that. We could incorporate this, and we could do like, instead of doing static shooting, we can do move. Anyway, it didn't really. No, they wouldn't let us do that. But everybody that did show up, they had a really, really good time. It was kind of funny because it was a small group, and these guys have been shooting for like 30 years, right? So they all thought it'd be really, really easy, and they would all walk away with a patch, and that didn't happen. We had one guy that got his rifleman patch. He was super excited about it as well, and he was talking to. There's a Facebook page. They were talking about it on the Facebook page later, and they all had really, really good things to say about it. They all want to come back next year because they want their patches, of course. And the funny thing is, we had one guy, he's the RSO. The RSO is, if you're shooting on a military range, it's required that they have an RSO from the base. So he was there. He wasn't shooting because he was working for the day, but he actually, I don't know if he was really intending to pay attention to everything. But he did, and he goes, I am in the infantry. I teach this and I instruct this, and I've been doing it for years. And when we did natural point of aim, or NPOA, he had a light bulb moment. He goes, I've been teaching this wrong all my life. He goes, I didn't understand what exactly it meant, or how to do it, or how to put it in words. And he goes, you guys taught me something. He goes, I'm stealing this. I'm going to be teaching this, and I'm going to be teaching it the way that you teach it. So from now on, I'll do that with the troops instead of the way that because he didn't really understand it. And he goes, it makes so much more sense now. And I'm going, this is awesome. Like, you're going to be teaching this to people who are part of the military. This is pretty cool. So yeah, it was fun.
So how do you feel knowing that you're helping teach people to kill?
Awesome.
As long as you're killing the right people, it's all good.
Hey, like Dirty Harry said, ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of shooting as long as all the right people get shot.
That's exactly it. We got good feedback with deer hunting season as well. Like, we had J. Joe, and he says, listen, he goes, I attended a maple seed, and it helped me with my shooting, and I was able to get my deer. So I think that's awesome.
Apparently it didn't help Adriel.
No, it did.
It did. It helped him so much that he couldn't tell. First one, and he got a second one too. One of the
Crow's got to eat too, Adriel.
Yeah, it's the the circle of life. Is helping things out. Coyotes,
Fed a couple of coyotes so that they fatten them up for the winter.
Yep.
Let's shoot them next year.
Yep. So, my rifle, my 1022, my baby, it is basically needing an overhaul because of the fact that it has been at almost all shoot. So we've had 60 shoots in the past 2 years with Project Maple Seed, and I've been shooting on my own as well. And yeah,
never cleaned it.
Of course I have, but the extractor is trying to. I'm having extractor issues, and so we're going to switch that out, and we're going to switch out the springs as well. I loaned out my Maple Seed rifle on the weekend to one of the guys that was there. He brought his own. He brought a 1022, and he fashioned it out with the Magpul stock, but he didn't have the parts. He didn't have the cheek risers. He had to have extra spacers. And Trevor, remember what happened with you with respect to mounting your scope? Do you remember what I said?
You're confusing my 1022 with my
No.
597.
Yes, but with your 597.
Yep.
What did I say?
You said that the eye relief wasn't right. I needed to get it further forward, and in order to do so, I need an EGW rail.
Right. Well, with him, he put a scope on it the day before the shoot, and he.
It's always a good idea.
Yeah. So he's using the rail that came with the 1022, and when you do that, the scope is going to be mounted too far back, so that your eye relief is not going to be great. So he tried it out his own. It didn't work out for him. I even gave him a cheek riser and a couple extra spacers for the stock. It didn't help. So he ended up taking my rifle, but because I was having extractor issues, anyways, it wasn't a great day for him. He still did well, but it wasn't perfect. But we're finding that actually all of our rifles that we use them as loaners too, and generally they used at every shoot, and there's 300 rounds, 400 rounds that go through them. So
are you taking responsibility for him not qualifying?
No.
Well, you should.
No.
He didn't bring the equipment.
Like he did well, but my rifle held him back. That's what the listeners
He could have brought out his own Norinco bolt action and he would have been fine.
Exactly.
Stop it. That's not even funny. I don't ever want to talk about that again.
He would have scored a 245 or 47.
Yes.
Right, but you screwed him over by giving him your malfunction POS 1022.
I did.
Good for you.
But now...
But you're not taking responsibility for it.
But he shot it and he's going, okay, here's my list of stuff that I want now. So I have to get the rail, and I have to get the extended mag release, and I have to get the bolt release, and I have the auto bolt release. And he just used my rifle, and now he has to put another, $200-300 worth of parts on it. So
easy. That reminds me. I disassembled and cleaned my 1022 mags just last night or the night before. I reached out to the Appleseed Princess to find out, okay, I got it apart now. How many twists do I have to put on this little thingy on the back? Yeah. So I think she gave me the very technical answer of twist it until it works.
That works.
So, yeah, I guess.
There's a tool that you can buy for that. Did you get that?
No, I just twisted it until it worked. Okay. You don't need a special tool for that. You just twist the little nut up and put it back in.
Okay. All right.
Are the Shadow 2 and the Shadow 1 slide stops different? I should get one of those too.
I think they might be, Adriel. That's definitely worth clarifying before you order. And yeah, I should definitely get I don't know if the slide stops are breaking on the Shadow 2, but with the Shadow 1, it's not. Oh, they do, eh? It's not a question of if, but when with that thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you definitely want the Shadow 1 slim safeties.
I got some safeties on mine.
He's just going to take the ones off his and send them there so you can send him yours.
Your Shadow, you bought your Shadow used, didn't you?
No, my Shadow 2 came with slim safeties.
Yes, but did you buy your Shadow 2 new or used?
New.
Oh, that's interesting.
Some of them come with extended, and some of them don't.
Oh, see, this one did. Yeah. And when I bought that Shadow 1, it was from Larry. Larry had bought 2 Shadow 2s, and he ended up throwing a set of those in the box for me. But you can.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, can I finish?
Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
The last thing that I wanted to say was I wanted to congratulate Greg May. He is officially a full instructor for Project Maple Seed. He is the first guy to make it through, and he's going to make our lives so much easier. So thank you.
He's great.
Yeah, he is awesome. Like, he took his vacation, first time in years that he took vacation, and what did he do? He got in a car with Tracy and I did that on purpose. Stacy and I, and drove across the country. Sorry.
That's what you do on your vacation, right? You rough it, and you live in tents, and don't shower for days on end, and
then show up
drive for hours. Yeah. Sounds fun.
Yeah, he deserves a medal.
Cool.
Yep, that's it.
All right. Upcoming events. Let us know if you have any upcoming events, but it's winter and it's cold outside, so probably no one's shooting or doing too much right now. We might do a December winter classic for 3-gun at Chaz. Maybe. I think. Maybe. Strong possibility. Let's get into the news. The first one here, man arrested after 20 guns found in car at Rainbow Ridge. Trevor, I see you clicking on that one. Do you want to take it away?
No, that's not me clicking on it.
Someone else clicking on that?
I did. So Rainbow Bridge, not Ridge. Rainbow Bridge is the crossing
Somewhere in the center of the universe. I don't know.
Well, it's at Niagara Falls. It's the busiest one across
and there
the
was
country.
There was a pile of handguns in there.
Correct. There's 20 undeclared, obviously. Yeah.
I have 20 handguns in my car. I'm thinking, oh, there's actually 40 here. Oh, I don't think this is happening, right? Yeah, there was 20 handguns in a custom compartment that they had in the back. This is after, I don't know if we mentioned, no, we didn't, because last week we didn't have a show.
No.
Last week there was a lady who had 25 in her gas tank.
Yeah.
So it's, and these are the people that are getting caught. Like, you must be doing something.
Getting in.
Yeah. All you got to do is, this guy here, they must have suspected something. They stopped the car. They had a detector dog team look over the car, and they found the guns concealed in an aftermarket compartment inside the car. If you look at the images, it's kind of in the trunk area between the rear seat and a fake wall at the rear seat there. So he's going to face some charges, get his wrist slapped.
Yep.
Bad boy. Don't do that again. And then they'll release him back out into the wild.
Well, remember, C-71 goes after gun owners. C-75 actually reduced the penalty for smuggling guns.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the Liberals for you.
It used to be 5. Now it's 2. Just saying.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's see here. This next one here from Nova Scotia RCMP. Matthew, do you want to take this one? We haven't heard you.
Do I ever?
Yeah.
All right. It's from the 5:28 p.m. That's awfully specific time. All right. So around 5:30 on October 27th, a deer hunter who was in Middleborough area heard a popping sound. And when he looked in the direction of the noise, he saw a man pointing a handgun, firing several shots at him. He didn't realize that he was actually on private land at the time when the shots were fired. The shooter then got into a truck and drove away. The hunter, who was not injured, called 911 and provided a description of the truck to police. The area is a small community. The police responded immediately and several officers provided containment around the residence. Contact was made with the suspect. He walked out of his house and was arrested without incident. The house was searched. Firearms were found, including a shotgun, a rifle, a pistol, and a carbine, and ammunition. Some of the firearms were not properly stored, and as a result, all firearms were seized from the residence. Suspect was taken to the detachment where he was released on conditions. He was charged with discharging a firearm while being reckless, careless use of a firearm, pointing a firearm, possession of a weapon for dangerous purpose, carrying a concealed weapon, possession of a firearm in a motor vehicle. And he's going to go back to court here in a bit. So, yeah, that's
That's not the correct way of notifying someone that they're on your property.
That's right. Bang.
You should take a Project Maple Seed course because he can't hit anything. I'm just saying.
No. They were warning shots. He's like, I listened to Slamfire and they told me this is how to do it.
Aren't you supposed to yell, "Get off my property"? Not like fire at someone.
Yeah.
I wonder if the guy actually didn't know he was not on private land, or he was on private land, or if he was just saying that.
I don't know. I mean, you shouldn't really be shooting at people.
No.
Regardless, yeah.
No, you shouldn't be shooting at people, but if you are on land, you should research it and go and talk to the homeowner or the landowner.
True fact. Yep. All right. Why don't we get into some new gun stuff? This first one here, SAP 6s are on for $5.99. So Tactical Imports is clearing these things out. So if you're looking for a pump action shotgun that holds big, bad magazines, they've got those. Arms East got in a shipment of Stag 10s. So these are in stock. There's no waiting list or anything on these. And from listening to you, Trevor, and knowing what my buddy was having problems with, I think I might get one of their stripped bare bones ones, because they had some where it's like no stock, no forend. It's got the barrel. It's got the buffer tube.
Yeah,
add your own stuff.
They do have different configurations, varying degrees, right? Stuff already on there. So you're smarter than me and Will and can learn from our mistakes. So
I'm not smarter. You guys just like tried to hack them together first, and I look at it and be like, "Oh, I'm not touching that. Give me the one
Well,
that already works."
in fairness, I think the mistake wasn't on Will's end. I think maybe whoever shipped out his parts goofed. But me ordering the wrong charging handle and gas tube, that's on me.
It's hard to figure out. I looked at the barrel he got, and it didn't really say this is a DPMS G2 barrel. It didn't really say that anywhere. It was in the product code. If you read the product code and you're like, oh, I think maybe this is a G2 barrel, you'd have to like figure it out.
You had to dig deep to find out that my charging handle was a Gen 2 small frame.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't a small frame AR10 and AR15? Come on.
Well, practically, yeah, because I think they use, was it the extension's the same or something?
Oh man, that
On the
stupid charging
G2?
handle. The charging handle is just this much too big for an AR15 and just this much too small for an AR10.
Yep, proprietary parts. Anyways, Stag Arms has a bunch of these in here. They had, I think, the 22-inch 6.5 Creedmoor is the one I'm going to go for. $1,900, and then throw on all your stuff that you want to on top to make it look cool and whatever. So I might go for something like that. The FX9s just arrived at Wolverine, so these are a little bit delayed. They're supposed to come in October, but it's November, and they're here. And yeah, these are
customers are already getting them. They're like they shipped some, I think, today. Already out the door. Now I did the math and I came up with what was it? 90? I think they only got 90 in today. Yeah, there's 3 pallets and 30 per pallet. If I counted correctly. If you go to the Wolverine forum on CGN, there's a picture there and it says pallet 1 of 3, and you can count what's on the pallet there pretty easily. But so they keep coming in on a regular basis now. We're all going to have them within no time. I know when I was told, and it'll be what it'll be.
Cool. Wonstalls has the Chiappa 357 Magnum takedown lever guns. These are in stock now. So these are like you guys have probably seen the Mare's legs. Mare's legs.
Mare's leg. Mare legs.
How do you call it, like plural? Mare leg eye.
It's a mare's leg. It's a mare's legs.
Legs. You got 2 legs, right? Mare's leg, mare's legs.
These are like that, except they have a functional stock and they're takedowns. So I think these are like I would say that these are more practical than the mare's leg because you get a real stock with it and you can still put it down to a compact size.
And if anyone shows up to a match and wants to shoot that in PCC, I'll pay your registration.
Okay. That's pretty.
That's going to be slow. Yeah.
Unless he can get after it. Some guys can run a lever gun faster than people can run a semi-auto.
Oh, I mean, like crappy people running a semi-auto. Like I don't see any cowboy shooters showing up to a 3-gun, like competing with the AR guys.
But I mean, they're also standing at a target like 7 yards away and just dumping into it. But you know, they just cycle the action, and on the way up, their middle finger hits the trigger. It's just close. Every time they close the action, they engage the trigger. So as fast as you can cycle the lever, you can pull the trigger theoretically.
Yeah, no, they're not giving anything up on the firing speed. Yeah.
Nope.
Reloads will be a little bit slower.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, why don't we get on to the main topic? Thanks again to Rod for coming on and giving away the farm. I think that's the phrase.
There are no secrets.
No, there are
I think he just
not
feels
anymore.
the need. He just feels the need to spill his guts when he's here. That's all.
Yep. Do we have any listener feedback from YouTube that's not weather related? You guys are getting a little bit of snow, and it's like, oh man, there's snowmageddon coming here.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. No.
There is nothing really that I've been trying to keep up.
There was some comments on the red dots. Jeremy was saying that the Hollow Sun 503G was the one that he was looking at. So I read a negative review
Me
that
too. In that magazine,
Edward wrote.
Right. Yep. TV
yeah.
Press Pass.
Yeah. He had some poor results with the Holosun. So I'm a little bit hesitant based on that. And the Spitfire is the same price. Spitfire is like $379 Canadian. And I'm pretty sure the Holosun 503 is about the same, if not more here.
And won't have the warranty. No one has the warranty that Vortex has.
Like in Canada. I bet
Who
you
cares? For Vortex, can't be Vortex's warranty.
No, you can't. Not the speed of the warranty. Yeah. But another comment here from Greg, who's saying he runs his 3X Spitfire on his XCR and his Spark 2 on his X95. Spark, he can move around and shoot both eyes open.
Yep.
And all he sees is a red dot. Yeah, that's the idea, right? So the nice thing about the Spark is that it's got a smaller body on it than the Spitfire.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'll get that both eyes open, just see the dot when I even with the Spitfire.
What do you guys think about your optic placement? I used to put my optic way out, like right at the end of the receiver.
For red dot?
Yeah.
Right at the end of the receiver is where I'd go.
So this guy put a video up on YouTube, and Derek Merriweather, one of our listeners, sent it to me, and it made me rethink everything I thought I knew about red dot placement. The example he gave was he took a toilet paper tube and he held it out in front of his face.
Yeah.
And now you've got to look through this tube, right? He pulled the tube closer, and as he pulled the tube closer, the field of vision opened up, and you didn't have to like focus through this tube anymore because it was like right in your face.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Which, like for a scope, yes, absolutely. For a red dot,
this was
your eyes open. You're just going to be superimposing that dot on whatever. I'm left eye dominant. This is actually working out great for me. There's going to be a dot on the target, and there's going to be like my left eye seeing and ignoring that red dot's not even going to show up for me. Well, it's going to be like the weak second image, right? So I
see what you're saying, Trevor, but the closer it is, the bigger the field of view means you have a larger area to scan to find a red dot. So if your eye's not perfectly placed behind it, you may not find it very quickly. Whereas if the red dot optic is farther out, you'll be forced to look through the center of it a little bit more quickly, and you'll probably find the red dot a little faster.
What you just said, he explained in the opposite. When it's up close, you're forced to look through the center. It's not, you're not having to look for it because it's out there. It's stuck right up in your face. You have no choice but to see through it automatically. As soon as it pops up, it's there.
And I found the opposite. I've experimented both ways, and I find the red dot faster the farther away the optic is from my face.
Now this doesn't apply to EOTechs. This doesn't apply to the big square glass EOTech.
No, I've done it with
tubes. Yeah.
But look, here's what you do: is you experiment. Put put your tube farther away, put it closer, and practice.
Just experiment both ways, Trevor.
Trevor, you always got to
experiment.
You know, college was a long time ago. My experimental days are behind me, and now I just want people on YouTube to tell me how to live.
But the problem is that there's multiple people on both sides who will both tell you that's the way to live.
Of course,
right.
He's right.
So live both ways.
I think the right thing to do here is to set up 2 ARs with 2 red dots, one far, one close, and then see what you prefer.
Yep.
Or
I've run both. I prefer further out because I get that same cheek weld anyways, and I prefer to look down and not see the sight.
So, I mean, I've got a red dot on my SKS and my Matador Arms chassis with a quick detach. I could just run a few drills and use the timer and see what my splits and my hits are like.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Red dot far or close? We need to know. Why don't we move on to listener feedback?
Okay.
Listener feedback is sponsored by Highlander Tactical. Go to highlandertactical.com to check out their great supply of both outside and inside the waistband holsters today. Use promo code SLAMFIRE to check out and save 10% on your order.
Sweet.
Trevor, do you want to take this one from Spencer?
No.
It's quite large. It's
like Spencer.
Whale size.
It's a whale of an email.
Yeah.
I'll take the PS stuff at the bottom where it says Trevor.
I think that's fair. I'll take this first part. From Spencer. Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know that I got my FN 509 upgraded with the Apex trigger and sear without too much difficulty. It took a while and was sometimes a three-handed job, but overall it was no worse than doing the same in my MMP core. I did not know that Apex had a trigger kit out for these things yet. That is awesome. The installation videos are correct that driving out the trigger pin is a little nerve-wracking, but mainly because they warn you so many times that you can break your frame by doing it wrong. A good set of punches and the right-sized hammer on a solid surface makes it a pretty straightforward job. The end result was about a pound lower pull weight according to my Lyman gauge and a noticeably crisper feel with a lot less take-up. The hinged trigger that comes from the factory really takes a lot of travel to disengage, and you still have to get the striker all the way back as well. The Apex doesn't change the latter, but the blade safety does eliminate a lot of the former. Overall, it's a worthwhile upgrade. It won't turn an FN into a race-tuned 1911 with a glass rod brake, but it does improve it a lot over the factory, and the 509 had a better trigger than the FNS series to start with. I'll definitely be putting one in my FNS long slide as well, although I think I'll wait until the price drops a bit before tackling that job. On another note, I was surprised United Way wanted anything to do with Kelly's gun-related fundraiser. I know here in Georgia, they wouldn't touch money that comes from any kind of activity that involves firearms. Lastly, I think all the P320s for the U.S. military will have the RMR cut out on the slides. That was one of the requirements, just like the safety. One other neat requirement was that they provide 10 ceremonial pistols for the guards at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. SIG created some really beautiful all-metal versions of the regular gun. I'll put a link below to the press release to show what they look like. That's it for now. Thanks for the great show, and it's good to have Matthew back at least once in a while. All right, Trevor, now it's your turn.
Trevor, if you can't find a good non-GI M1 carbine, the best of the reproductions is the Car Auto Ordnance Rifle. I'm not seeing those up here. That doesn't mean they're not here, though. I have a 1944 Underwood, but I usually take the car out to shoot with folks from work, and it's always run like a champ. Supposedly, it's picky on magazines, but I've never had an issue with it. It's always been around It's always been around $650 US, which used to be more than a real M1, but it's actually a lot less these days. Ain't that the truth? All the rest of the M1 clones are really hit or miss when it comes to quality. Some of the early Universals are actually pretty nice. Yeah, because the first Universals were still being made with actual parts, not parts that they made themselves. They were using US GI parts, and are basically post-war GI carbines. After they went bankrupt 2 or 3 times and parts started to get scarce, though, the quality slipped a bit. Okay, a lot, as in they were mostly junk. Yep. Filthy says, as far as those Universals are concerned, it's not a question of if they will shoot out a battery, it's when. I had hopes for the new Inland manufacturing guns, but those seem to have some real issues out of the gate, and they cost the same as a real GI gun to boot. As for ammo here in the States, I can get Fiocchi for about 25 cents a round. Not dirt cheap, but not that expensive either. I don't shoot either one all that often, so a case lasted me a while. After I talked about it last week, I went back to Budget Shooter Supply, and they had oodles of different types of projectiles to reload 30 carbine with. Hornady, even Hornady stuff. And again, anything between 90 and 110 grain. I'm glad you got rid of your Russian trash, though. I like my Mosin M44 well enough, and I have a Yugo SKS just because, well, not just because the Yugo SKS is one of the most sought after ones, but I have never, was never that interested in anything Russian except for AK variants. Good luck with the Enfields, though. That should keep you busy for a while. Yep, absolutely. Ian from Forgotten Weapons did an SKS video the other day. I forget where it was from, but there's like 3 unicorns of the SKS, and yeah, I forget what they were, but anyway, I don't know if we have any of them here, but yeah, when an SKS makes it to the Rock Island House auction house, you know it's got to be rare. So anyway, I might as well keep going here, Adriel. From James. So wondering if you talked about sighting in scopes. I've been busy trolling flat earthers and haven't been listening to Slackfire Radio with the new logo.
Slack Tire Radio.
Slack Tire, that's right. Yeah, Slack Tire Radio, all one word. Yeah. I guess what I'm asking is, how do I explain to a stormtrooper the correct way? Stop shooting from the hip would be a good way to start. As you explain the proper procedures, please use small words with lots of explanations. Maybe use some graphs and pictures so we can help that dope Brian Bolivar too. Watching some YouTube and found this from 3 years ago. Matt Best steps to owning a gun. 1, laugh at gun owner stereotypes. 2, get the proper training. 3, be responsible. 4, say no to emotional gun control. 5, exercise and support the CCFR. 6, be responsible for your own safety. 7, make sure Trevor pulls a hammy. I added that one. Italics, take a breath. Remember, Matt warning shot McClatchy. Just because it fits in your mouth doesn't mean it belongs there. Keep your stick in a vice. James B.
That's
AKA,
the regular one that normally like trashes his emails and they're like hardly readable.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
readable.
yeah.
This is he did a good job. We can read it.
He did
Very
a
weird.
job. Maybe he's
Well,
finally taken our advice and has somebody else write his emails for him. I bet Dawn wrote this. Thank you, Ginger Snaps.
Yippers.
Mm-hmm.
Have we ever talked about sighting in scopes?
Yes,
No.
Maybe.
we
Never.
did say we would make it a main topic at some point. The guys
We will
placated me and
eventually.
said yes.
Someday,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah,
Maybe.
someday.
Probably not.
All right.
If you'd like to email the show and ask us to do a topic that we won't do, send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Podcast reviews, none, but please go ahead and review us on iTunes or Google or Stitcher or something. And
Whatever app you use.
yeah, whatever app you use, if it's got review stuff on there, review us. Shout outs, Trevor.
Do I? Yes, Captain Andy and Kim. Thank you for another amazing weekend. So I got down there and I brought Christina with me this time. And so, you know, Andy's wife had already met my wife before. And at the start of the weekend, it was, all right, from now on, you're not allowed to come visit without bringing her. And at the end of the weekend, it was, Christina, you can come back. And Trevor, like, whatever, man, it's fine. As long as Christina comes back. So, yeah.
That's normal though for you guys.
It
right?
pretty much is a thing, yeah. Well, joke's on her. Like the next couple of times I'm going to be down there, going to be for matches. I'm going to have Muffin with me. So,
Sweet.
yeah.
Kelly?
I have one for Gravel Agency. They're the newest sponsor for Project Maple Seed, and I'm going to make the announcement on the website, maybe, or on the Facebook page. but
Here?
they-
Now?
Okay, so they sent
Okay.
us 4 guns and also a whole wackadoodle of bucket of bullets. So we're going to be using the guns for loaners. They're the I don't actually know what they sent us. I have to look.
Norinco
Another-
Bolt Action 22s?
No, that wasn't
No.
those. I know that there was a couple of Marlins in there. So, but yeah, there was 2. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to have to open them up. I'm going to take pictures. And also, as I said, we have, I think, 10,000 rounds of 22 ammo. Yep. So I just wanted to say thank you to them.
Good start.
Yeah,
Good to go there.
that's awesome. So thanks for coming on board, Gravel Agency.
Matthew?
Yeah, to Cody. You know why?
Yeah, Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cody.
All right, Patreon supporters. This one, I think,
We got a big new one to add
that?
to this. Giovanni's in there, but
Giovanni, whatever. Thanks, buddy. Whatever. You got a big one.
no, you do Giovanni. Well, I get the email up for the next
we
guy.
don't care about you
Okay.
anymore. We got a big guy. We got somebody more important than you, Giovanni.
Giovanni. He's
Don't
a
talk
great
about
guy, by the
Giovanni
way.
like that.
I've met
Well,
him
you
before.
started it, so I just thought I'd wrap it up.
No, you really twisted my intent there. It's funny,
Huh? Yeah.
you know. Giovanni hates you, by the way. He told me so.
Well,
Hates you to the tune of a 311 bullet.
Yes.
Should be a
aren't they
303
511 pants?
Enfield.
Huh? Oh,
Not pants.
oh. That's right. The 311s are the shorts.
Right. The crops. Giovanni, thank you for supporting us.
Thank you for
Thanks.
sending us shorts.
We'll buy
And-
shorts with it.
Trevor, do you
Our
wanna
other
talk
one-
about-
What you want to let me?
Oh, here's the fanfare, the big one. Somebody
Nope.
play the music. Put the trumpets out or something.
Nope. Screw you guys. Not doing it.
Why not?
Sorry, Jeremy. My
The
co-hosts are
Patreon,
jerks.
he deserves
Jeremy
it, Trevor.
Crane.
He paid. He deserves it.
Right.
Yep.
He does.
He deserved respect, and he deserved to have it his.
Well, he deserves that
Patreon
respect from
acknowledged.
you.
But
And you need to not talk down on Giovanni, and you need to.
I could have cut you right in the sack. So yeah,
No.
Jeremy sent us $10, but whatever, man.
Whatever.
Let's not make a big deal
Hey,
of it. I don't want
Jeremy,
to make
thank you
anybody
very
else feel
much.
bad.
For supporting us as well. Awesome. $10. That's really good.
Let's just say your patches are worth more.
Oh, look, Giovanni's gonna un-Patreon us now.
I
'cause you
would.
guys.
I'd be like, screw these guys. I hate these guys now.
But at least Giovanni made it a caliber. Pff, $10. Anybody can do $10.
Hey, what the heck's
Okay,
a 10?
you guys.
10 millimeter.
Give me
Hey,
Oh,
Adriel,
yeah.
Ten
you've lost
millimeter.
control.
Mhm.
Adriel, you've
I
lost
don't
control.
think he ever had it.
Control was an illusion right from the start.
No, but seriously, wrap this up because our Patreon is waiting.
All right,
Oh,
please
cool.
join the CCFR. Check us out on Gunners of Canada. Like us on Facebook. See you later.
I love it. All right, shut us down.